For more than 4,000 years, the Great Pyramid has dared humanity to explain it. A mountain of stone, a monument so precise, so enormous, that millions still believe ancient Egyptians could not have built it alone. But what if the real answer is even more interesting than the myth? Originally standing 146.5 meters high, the Great Pyramid was the tallest structure on Earth for nearly 3,800 years. Officially, it was built as the tomb of King Khufu, probably in something like 10 to 20 years. But that answer has never satisfied everyone. Because when people look at Giza, they do not just see a tomb. They see impossible ambition. They see giant blocks, internal chambers, perfect alignments, and a scale that still feels out of place in the ancient world. So, before we ask how it was built, we have to ask something simpler. What kind of evidence would actually prove who built it? In archaeology, you almost never get a signed confession from the past. You get context. You get pottery, tool marks, burials, debris, logistics traces, and nearby settlements. Egyptologist Mark Lehner has argued that this is exactly how Giza must be dated and understood. Not by one magic clue, but by the broad mass of Egyptian material culture surrounding the pyramids. So, if the builders were Khufu's Egyptians, we should expect to find at least three things. First, traces tying the monument directly to Khufu. Second, traces of the people who worked there. And third, traces of the system that fed, moved, and organized them. The remarkable part is that archaeologists have found all three. The first reveal is inside the pyramid itself. In the relieving chambers above the king's chamber, archaeologists documented ancient red ochre work gang graffiti that identify Khufu as the monument's owner. That matters because these are not decorative inscriptions added for tourists. They are the rough, practical marks of construction crews. And the story gets more persuasive when you zoom out. Giza's surrounding cemeteries, tombs, and administrative remains all fit the 4th dynasty world of Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure. In other words, the pyramid does not stand in a historical vacuum. It stands inside a Khufu-era landscape. So if the inscriptional and archaeological context already point to Khufu, what do the people themselves look like? One of the most important breakthroughs came not from inside the pyramid, but from papyri found at Wadi al-Jarf on the Red Sea coast. In the Journal of Merer, a Khufu-era official records his crew transporting limestone by boat from the Tura quarries to a place called Akhet Khufu, the horizon of Khufu, the ancient name of the Great Pyramid complex. Mark Lehner later described that discovery as opening a window onto the daily use of waterways around Giza. Suddenly, the builders were no longer anonymous. We could glimpse schedules, deliveries, routes, harbors, and administration. Not magic, not myth, logistics. And that changes the emotional center of the story. Because the Great Pyramid begins to look less like an impossible object dropped into history, and more like the output of a state powerful enough to move stone, food, and labor on a gigantic scale. The second reveal is even more human. Southeast of the main pyramids lies Hayt el Ghurab, the workers' town and cemetery. Here, archaeologists found houses, magazines, streets, galleries, administrative buildings, massive silos, bakeries, and huge quantities of animal bone. The official Egyptian monument record says the state ensured workers were kept in good health for physically demanding responsibilities. Their skeletons show heavy labor, but also healed injuries, suggesting medical care. Pharaoh's work adds bread, beer, granary systems, and industrial-scale food production to the picture. This is why many archaeologists reject the old image of endless lines of broken slaves whipped across the desert. What appears instead is organized labor: overseers, craftsmen, administrators, bakers, herders, transport crews, and workers attached to a powerful royal system. But defending a workforce is one thing, moving stone is another. And here the landscape itself becomes part of the solution. ERA's Giza work and a 2024 study in Communications, Earth and Environment both point to ancient waterways as a missing piece of the puzzle. The Aramat branch appears to have run near many pyramid complexes, and several causeways terminate at points consistent with ancient river harbors. Lehner also reconstructed a deep canal basin east of the Sphinx area, where boats could offload and turn around. That means stone may not have been dragged across endless, empty desert from the open Nile. It may have come much closer to the plateau than most viewers imagine. So if water delivered the heavy loads almost to the construction zone, the next question becomes brutal. How did they move them the final distance? Experimental and archaeological evidence now gives part of that answer. Physicists at the University of Amsterdam showed that wetting sand in front of a sledge can dramatically reduce the pulling force needed to move heavy loads. And at Hatnub, researchers found a 4,500-year-old quarry ramp system flanked by staircases and post holes, consistent with rope-assisted hauling on steep slopes. Neither discovery solves the entire pyramid by itself. Hatnub is a quarry, not Giza. Wet sand explains transport across ground, not the final lift to the summit. But together they destroy a common misconception: the idea that ancient Egyptians had no plausible mechanical methods at all. They did. The problem is not whether they had methods. The problem is which combination of methods they used when the pyramid rose higher and higher toward the sky. And this is where honesty makes the documentary stronger, because the exact final construction sequence is still debated. Archaeologists broadly agree on human builders, Egyptian administration, quarrying, transport, and organized labor. But there is still no universally accepted master blueprint for how the upper courses were completed. Was there a straight ramp, a zigzag ramp, an internal ramp, multiple temporary ramps, levering, counterweight systems, or a hybrid method that changed as the monument grew? Modern science has actually deepened that uncertainty. In 2017, muon scanning revealed a huge, previously unknown void above the Grand Gallery. In 2023, researchers more precisely characterized a corridor-shaped structure behind the North Face chevron. These voids do not prove aliens or Atlantis, but they do prove something else. The pyramid still contains architectural secrets, and those secrets may matter to how it was built. That uncertainty is exactly why alternative theories survive. The first is the slave theory. It is emotionally powerful because the project was gigantic, dangerous, and royal. But the archaeology points in a different direction. Worker housing, food infrastructure, good quality meat, healed bones, organized labor units with names, burials for overseers and skilled workers. None of that looks like a disposable mass labor pool driven only by terror. That does not mean pyramid work was easy or optional in a modern sense. Old kingdom states could demand labor. But what emerges at Giza looks far more like a mobilized national workforce, rotating crews, specialists, administrators, and support systems, than the old cinematic picture of endless shackled slaves. So if slavery is too simple, what about the most famous claim of all? The second theory says the pyramids were built by aliens, or at least with alien help. The appeal is obvious. If the monument feels impossible, then a non-human explanation can feel emotionally satisfying. But archaeologists argue that alien theories often begin where human evidence is ignored. At Giza, that human evidence is everywhere. Worker settlements, food systems, quarries, tools, harbor traces, embedded Old Kingdom debris, Khufu-era context, and texts like Marer's diary. Lehner put it bluntly, in effect. The archaeological case is contextual, cumulative, and overwhelmingly human. The pyramid is extraordinary. That does not make it extraterrestrial. It makes it a reminder of what a disciplined ancient state could achieve. But there is one more theory that refuses to die, and for this channel, it is the most seductive of all. The third theory says the pyramids are much older than dynastic Egypt, perhaps inherited from a lost civilization whose records vanished. It is a powerful idea because it combines mystery with forbidden history. But here too, the problem is context. Lehner argues that if a large, earlier civilization had built at Giza, it would have left traces: pottery, garbage, tools, burials, settlement layers, something. Instead, the material evidence around the pyramids keeps returning to the Old Kingdom world of Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure. Even many scientific dating efforts are messy in exact precision, but they do not scatter back into some vanished Ice Age empire. And as for the idea that the stones were secretly cast like concrete rather than quarried, Lehner's response is that the seams, irregular block shapes, chips, and visible tool marks make large-scale poured blocks highly improbable on site. So where does that leave us? The who is actually becoming clearer. Khufu's Egypt, Khufu's administrators, Khufu's work gangs, Khufu's logistics. What remains blurry is the final choreography, the exact engineering sequence that turned all of that labor into a finished pyramid. And that is why new discoveries matter. Every hidden corridor, every harbor trace, every worker seal, every papyrus fragment pulls the monument slightly further out of myth and slightly closer to history. But not all the way. Not yet. Maybe that is the real lesson of Giza. The pyramids do not need aliens to be astonishing. They do not need a lost super civilization to feel impossible. They only require us to take ancient people seriously. Seriously enough to admit that they may have achieved something extraordinary, and seriously enough to admit that we still do not understand every step. So who really built the pyramids? The evidence points to the Egyptians of Khufu's age, but the deeper question remains open. If the builders are no longer the mystery, what else is still hidden inside the pyramid that could finally show us exactly how they did it?